And hello everyone, today we are back with episode 23 of our ComputerCraft series. In the last episode we have experienced a lot of wireless issues and we are now roughly a week later that I shot that clip. I just had enough from that nonsense that we were doing. Also, having said that, I'm currently editing episode 10 to 15, and I've noticed that we have spent a lot of time on a really complicated wireless system which is not working all the time. Sometimes it is working, on other times it's not really working. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it is because I reload the world or something like that. Computer turtles or pocket computers that get a reboot. Not sure what's happening, but something is messing something up to the point that in the last episode even shell.run wasn't working anymore, which is one of the fundamental APIs that you should never touch. So what has changed? This is our new send info function that I've been working on, and this was our send function part of our API. What this was actually doing, which should work in theory, if we have a version, which is version 1, if our information thingy is a table, then it should do a whole lot of stuff. Get it inside a new table with some device thingies. And if all of that's happened, then it is going to convert all of it one by one into a string and then return that string. A lot of places this can go wrong. And this was simply needed because we wanted tables inside tables, which at the time sounded like a really good plan. But now, a few weeks, about 10 weeks later, we noticed that it isn't such a good idea. So I literally just deleted all of this, on which we have worked, I think, 3 or 4 episodes, and I started from scratch. So we have a new table, and we start with a version. We give that version, and from now on, that's going to be version 2. Just to make sure that it isn't conflicting with an old computer running on version 1. Then number 2 is always going to be computer ID. We can get that from the wireless event, but let's send it with it anyway. Then the time, just in decimal form, the day, just an in-game day. Some GPS coordinates. We still need to figure out how to set up GPS. So that's not filled in yet, but some space has been reserved. Then what kind of device it is, which is in a function above here. That has always worked, so I took that for granted. And then what kind of purpose this machine is fulfilling. In this case, it's a remote mining turtle. Then there are a lot of spares, of which we will actually add more to in this episode. Just to go to a round number, which will be either 16 or 20, depending on which I find a bit more pleasing to watch. And then, finally, all the information is going to be added to the table. So currently we are going up to message 14, which means that at 1 plus 14, which is 15, it's going to insert information, and that's going to cycle through how long this info table is. So we are still importing a table that we want to send, so we can still send a lot of information, but in the end it's just one table without any tables inside that we need to transfer over the network. So we only have to do a serialize moment once, then it is ready to be sent, and That's actually the information that we are sending over the network. Converting back, just to compare it a little bit. This was our convert back info with a lot of checks if stuff was actually a table or a number and stuff worked. And now that is just one single check if it was a string to begin with. Then we convert it from a string to a table. We check the version, which should be 2 for this format, and then just return it to the program. Way easier than we used to do it. And I think, and we shall see that in the next 10 weeks or so, this should be powerful enough. Simply because we can expand it. It can grow with us, since the longer the table that we put in, the longer that the table is going to be that we send over the network. At least in theory, that should work. Yeah, the rest is not that weird in my opinion. So that's what I did off camera. Also off camera, I tested out the script, and I figured that we have some issues, of which I thought some of them were already resolved, but that wasn't the case for some reason. So I have seen in the last few days of testing that it still can happen that a turtle isn't placing a chest above it to store its items in. Most of the time that happens when a mob is that happens when a monster is on top of the turtle, so it can't place it and is just spitting out all the items, which is both a waste, and if you have a lot of turtles, a lot of lag. Then the suck up items doesn't really work for some reason, and we are going to take a look at that as well. And I want to make a small checksum, make sure that all the items are actually stored. Otherwise, items could go flying into the air, or in the next mining slice, it does need to place its ender chest once again, which is a waste of resources. One other thing that I want to point out is a thing that we have tried to solve twice, I believe, which has something to do with a slot that is getting out of range, which is actually a slot that I thought was at least causing some mayhem in the store function, but it is actually in the digging function. Since what happens, a turtle goes up, and if there is nothing in front of him, it wants to place a block. And I'm going to find that function for you real quick. So this is what it currently is, and this is what it used to be. Just to point out what was going wrong. So, for example, if a turtle had just stored items, then had refueled, and it wanted to go up. If an item was not there, not a block in front of the turtle, then this statement would be not true. One second. Then this turtle.dig would be false. Then this not false would be true, so this part would happen. Then while it cannot place, this would all happen. It would get its turtle slot, which would be slot 16 in that case, since that just refueled. Then it would select n+1, so that would be in slot 17. The stuff, everything would break, since slot 17 doesn't exist. Well, that's kind of an issue. And we try to resolve that if n equals 16, then just n equals 1 and it will start from the beginning. The idea was good. The sad thing was that it had already selected slot 17, so it would never fix itself. By simply moving this line to below here, in case it would be in slot 16, it would actually reset to 1. And when it is at slot 13, it would actually break the while loop, so it would stop. Then still nothing was placed, but at least the turtle was going. So this does actually fix it. I have tested this script on, I believe it were 18 turtles, 12 turtles for about 250 blocks. So that's a rather big test. And it seems to behave normal again. Having said that, in the past I have only seen maybe 4 times in all the turtle digging that we have done. So only time will tell. I've already said too many things today, so we cannot fix all the issues that I listed earlier. But we can at least make sure that the important things are fixed, which is going to be making sure that a chest is placed before items are going in. So we can make this. We can actually make a place chest function. So we can make a function place chest to store items. We do need to make a difference between a normal and an ender chest. So we need some type information, and we are going to specify or distinguish between those two types first. Well, actually think of it, we don't need to specify the type. Since a normal chest is always placed below a turtle, and for that it needs to mine below the turtle first, and if that cannot happen, it can only be bedrock, and then it will be stuck there for a while. So we don't have to think about that type yet. We can actually make this an ender chest then. Ender chest to store items. So while we can bring over some stuff from here. Copy. Paste this here first. So while this thingy turtle.plays up, while this is false, or not true, new turtle.tag up, turtle.dig up. Since maybe for a weird reason with lag there's gravel on top of it. Not sure if that can happen, but let's assume it might happen. So this will at least make sure that the chest is placed. That's one part of the problem. Let's actually make that a capital P as well. Yeah, I'm currently for work playing with PowerShell, and then it is quite common to use a capital letter at the start of a function, and then with each separate word as well. So I kind of need to get used to using a capital letter at the start of a function. I'm not going to replace it in my entire script, since that will take a day, but at least it's good to do that from now on. This should all still work. Then we are going to make a check. So Oh, the check is actually already in there. So while turtle.get item count in the correct slot is bigger than 1, do this. And when it is equal to 1 or equal to 0, yeah, okay, that's already in there. Not sure why I wasn't seeing this. Maybe my amount of turtles was too small, so it hadn't to be an issue. I don't know, but it is working now. Let's actually get to a next thing, which is if gravel is falling down. And that is a moment that a turtle cannot go up. Actually make sure that actually using the brave.up. The suck up, this one is going to be redundant in a while. Going down, 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 going up. So it is using the brave up, okay. Then it's actually doing something up here. I'm actually going to introduce here a turtle.suck up. Since what happens? A turtle goes up, finds gravel, which it breaks, then it's actually trying to go up, but gravel is falling down, so turtle.up equals false. Then this happens, it waits about a second, which is exactly what I see in the world, and then it's actually going up, up, and up, and once the turtle reaches the ceiling, the item, the gravel item on top, then the gravel item on top of the turtle doesn't have any place to go and just shoots off in a random direction. So I think if we suck up the item first, that we can at least get some of those items back. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them might find its way into the turtle's inventory. Yeah, that's actually all the points that we had to address during this episode. I want to show you guys what we have actually done in the meantime. This is all for sorting items. I'm now flying to the place that we have been working on with the turtles for the last time, which isn't that far away, just around the corner basically. And in this place I trained with, and this place as well by the way, with turtles in pretty much a long distance. Every time it was like 64 blocks, which is still 8 chunks of distance. I think I did that twice plus 32 or something like that. So roughly 12 chunks of length in here. And my plan is for the upcoming episodes, I think 2 episodes is realistic, but we need to work on this, is that we have one long row of turtles which are actually mining away this entire section. So that's 150, 60-ish, 160-ish blocks. And it's all mining at once. Hopefully the PC doesn't crash. That's going to be a second issue. And then slowly but surely mining away this entire block, which is actually something I'm going to fly a bit quicker for, all the way into this place, and then another 100 blocks or so in this direction. At least that's the plan. And you can notice, especially if you have played Minecraft before, mobs tend to spawn in dark areas, especially if there's no other in the neighborhood. So that's going to be a problem. So in the next 2 episodes, which makes this episode a little bit short, the next episodes we are going to work on turtles that can place either torches, so these thingies, or the glowstone, which both emit some light, and that should make life a whole lot easier. So in the end it should look like this, all lit up and ready to build on, and without any torches, since torches are annoying, since you need to break them first before you can actually build on top of this area, and do that all automated with our turtle script. So that's kind of where we are going to fall from now on. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, learned something from it, and I hope to see you next time. Have a good day, night, evening. Bye bye.